And the whole crowd is looking like the middle of the alphabet. Oh!
The box is an ergonomic, button-based hitbox-style controller. Essentially, it's a fight stick without the stick, with each analog input broken down into individual buttons with entirely digital inputs, similar to the WASD keys found on a keyboard. This controller is designed to put as little strain on one's hands as possible, with each button corresponding to each finger, meaning the controller demands minimal finger and hand movement. There are 18 buttons present on the box. 4 for the left stick, 4 for the C stick, A, B, Z, X and Y, L and R, 2 modifier buttons, and the start button. We'll get into each button's function later in the video. The box comes with Sanwa arcade buttons, but is compatible with any 24mm button, allowing the player to customize it to their specific needs. The box comes with a detachable USB-C to GCC cable, meaning it can be used for any GameCube, Wii, Wii U, or Nintendo Switch game so long as they are compatible with the GameCube controller. Additionally, it includes a USB-C to USB cable for computer use, and, most recently, a USB-C to N64 cable, which allows the box to be used in titles like the original Super Smash Bros. The box automatically detects which console it is currently plugged into, allowing it to have subtle yet key differences in button functionality between different Smash titles. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the left and right buttons will cause your character to dash in the inputted direction. Notice how your character, under normal circumstances, cannot walk when these are pressed. The press of the button immediately transitions to an X value of positive or -1, while releasing it is immediately registered as the neutral position, or an X value of 0. This is different from analog sticks, where one would need to travel a range before reaching their final position. Buttons are simply held or released, while analogs include every state in between. This makes Dash Dancing in Ultimate exceptionally easy with the box, as you would just alternate between the two buttons instead of flicking a stick back and forth. This is not intended to replace the more subtle types of movement, such as walking or tiptoeing. In order to do so, you would hold either Mod X or Mod Y, respectively, in conjunction with your desired direction. On their own, these buttons don't do anything, but as their name suggests, they modify the intensity of the direction being held, just like the Control or Shift keys on a keyboard. This makes movement simpler and tighter, allowing one to be as precise with spacing as possible, as there is no more fiddling with the often fickle analog sticks. You'll find that this sort of intentionality is the guiding motif of the box. Everything you do on the box is done so thoughtfully, thus decreasing overall misinputs. You'll find that so many inputs are much more straightforward with the box. A, for instance, is used by your right thumb. Notice how it is surrounded by the C-stick buttons. Your thumb will never be forced to input multiple actions at once, as there is never a scenario in Ultimate in which you need to hold both a C-stick button and A simultaneously. A tilt attack can be performed by using a mod button in conjunction with any direction and then pressing A. While sounding complicated for a simple tilt input, it only takes a bit of practice to be comfortable doing so, though you could still customize the controller settings if you really wanted to. The B button functions just as it normally would. Press it during or after the direction being held in order to perform a side, down, or up B. Pressing it as is will perform an ordinary neutral B. The box makes reverse Bs, B reverses, and wave bounces all extremely doable and consistent, since you are no longer physically bound by potential flaws from the analog stick. You would either press a direction and then input the special, then a direction, or combine both motions in order to wave bounce. This is especially useful for characters like Mario and Link who rely on this tech for their gameplay. slightly tap X or Y to short hop, or hold it for 4 frames or longer in order to full hop. Combine this with any A or C stick input in order to perform an aerial, making it very easy to perform jump buffered aerials since 2 separate fingers are used for this input rather than all being done by a single thumb. The shoulder buttons L and R are quite interesting. The L button performs just as it normally would, being used to either shield, spot dodge, neutral air dodge, or directional air dodge. The R button is a bit special. Notice how the R always just tilts your shield. You can't roll or spot dodge out of it. This is perfect for angling shields easily and consistently without misinputting another defensive option, a largely unused mechanic even in high competitive play. At any time, you can cancel your shield into a jump, up smash, or up B by pressing any of these inputs while still holding the shield. The box makes other common tech, such as reverse aerial rushes, also known as RARs, very consistent to input. All you need to do to perform a RAR is to run, input a turnaround with the opposite direction, and hit either X or Y as you pivot. No need to awkwardly flick the stick and force the same finger to be responsible for multiple button presses. One question you might have is, how is it possible to recover with characters, such as Fox or those with teleports, like Palutena, if you can't specify the angle with an analog stick? Using some combination of the direction buttons and modifiers, it is actually possible to obtain up to 40 separate angles with the box alone in a convenient and logical fashion. See the box manifesto for more information on how to do this, but the key takeaway is that all the angles you need for play are indeed possible. The unique recoveries of Ness and Lucas are actually possible to perform consistently as well. Homing projectiles such as PK Thunder, Nikita, and Din's Fire can all be controlled by timing each direction being pressed. Take PK Thunder for instance. All Ness needs to do is roll left, down, right, and then up, just as you would with an analog stick. Hold the direction for longer and PK Thunder will travel more towards that direction. It is a lot simpler than it sounds, and as shown here, just about every angle is possible, all with just a bit of practice. And yes, true inputs with Ryu, Ken, and Terry are much more convenient to perform as well. Difficult tech, although possible on regular controllers, becomes much more reasonable to perform on the box. Your inputs will be more accurate, more precise, all while maintaining maximum player intentionality. You can make your character do what you want so that you don't end up fighting with your inputs and yourself. The main reason the box was invented was to be as ergonomic as possible. The box is designed with the player in mind. Tendinitis, carpal tunnel, and forms of arthritis can arise from extended use of traditional controller models with years of competitive play. This type of controller keeps your hands from overextending and overexerting themselves, avoiding such injuries. Simply put, the box is comfortable, it's elegant, it feels good to use. If I could legally marry an inanimate object, I'd wife the hell out of my box. If you are interested in more information about the box, take a look at the description down below and click the links provided. My name's Dara, and I hope you enjoyed a look at the box. For future videos about the box and all things Super Smash Bros., make sure you subscribe to Ultimate Smash Academy.